Beloved Scorpio, something is about to happen that may leave you breathless, not from fear, but from the raw clarity of a truth your soul can no longer ignore. October 28th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a cosmic checkpoint. A karmic return is arriving, and it holds in its hands a truth you thought you were done with, but it has never been done with you. Whether it's been lingering in your dreams, pressing behind your thoughts, or whispering through strange signs around you, this energy has been circling your field for weeks. And now, it prepares to make itself known in ways that will challenge your composure, shake your expectations, and ultimately remind you of who you've become. You're not here by accident. The fact that you're watching this message, at this precise moment, is evidence of divine timing. Something far greater than coincidence is at work. There are no accidents when it comes to spiritual alignment. And I believe that if you've arrived at Miracle of the Sign today, it's because heaven has scheduled an appointment with your soul. So take a breath, Scorpio. Let the weight of that settle. Because this is not just a horoscope reading. This is a sacred transmission. A message of healing. A map that may help you navigate the dense fog of emotion that's about to rise. Has your heart been heavy lately, but you haven't known why? Have you felt the pull of someone from your past through dreams, random memories, or unexpected contact? Has your peace been tested by emotions that don't make logical sense? Then this message is especially for you. A karmic figure, someone with a deep soul tie to you, may return in a form you didn't expect. It could be a message, a physical encounter, or a sudden realization of how much they've never really left your energetic space. But this time, you are not the same. You've evolved. And that's exactly what this return is here to prove. You're being asked to look again. Not to fall into old patterns, but to rise above them with wisdom. You've earned the right to choose differently. To see clearly. To walk away in peace, or to begin again from a new, sacred place of self-honor. And yes, it might be overwhelming at first. That's why I'm here with you now. To remind you that clarity, even when it arrives like thunder, is a blessing. Scorpio, comment below with the words, "I am ready for the truth," to activate this energy within your field. Let the universe hear your decision. Let heaven respond to your readiness. And before we continue, allow me to pause for a moment and thank you truly for being here. For every like, every share, every subscription, and especially every comment that creates this living thread between us. Your presence helps expand this spiritual family, and allows us to continue delivering messages that bring clarity, hope, and transformation. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And trust me, Scorpio, what the universe is about to reveal in this reading is nothing short of breathtaking. So stay with me until the very end, because what's waiting for you might just shift everything. Scorpio, when the moon crosses the south node in your sign, as it will on October 28th, it doesn't merely create a ripple in the cosmos, it opens a portal inside your psyche. A hidden doorway that swings wide to let the past in, not to haunt you, but to help you remember. To remember who you were, what you carried, what you survived, and what still lingers in the darkened corners of your emotional temple. This isn't just an astrological event. It is a divine recall. There is a weight in your spirit now, and perhaps you haven't been able to name it. Perhaps you felt a heaviness that has no face, a longing for clarity that only grows more restless in the silence. That is what the South Node brings. It resurrects echoes. And when it touches the moon in Scorpio, it digs deep, unearthing emotional fossils that still pulse with the life of unresolved stories. And yet, while the past stirs, Venus aligns harmoniously with Jupiter, asking, "Can you tell the difference between healing and attachment? Between love and projection? Between a soul contract that still breathes and one that expired lifetimes ago?" This aspect invites you to pause and discern. To not rush into the arms of something familiar just because it feels intense. Scorpio, you more than anyone know that intensity is not always truth. That brings us to the tarot cards revealed for you in this sacred window. The Hierophant appears first not as a rigid authority, but as a gentle, rooted reminder. You are not your emotions. You are not your memories. You are the vessel that holds them. The Hierophant speaks of your spiritual integrity, of your alignment with something higher than the drama of temporary desire. He invites you to anchor into your values before you open any door. To ask yourself, does this serve the soul I've become? And then comes the Six of Cups, softly, like a photograph slipped under your door. It brings nostalgia, yes, but also temptation. A figure from the past may resurface, bearing apologies, unfinished words, or simply the energy of what was never said. And it may take your breath away. Not because it's new but because it's still alive in you. The Six of Cups doesn't just bring a person. It brings your former self, standing beside them. It asks, will you embrace what you've outgrown or rise to the higher timeline you've prayed for? There's a sacred irony in this. You've done the work. You've cried the quiet tears. You've whispered prayers while the world slept, asking God not just for love, but for peace. Not just for someone to stay, but for the wisdom to let go. And now, in divine timing, you're being shown where you still hold on and where you can finally release. In the Word, we are reminded, to everything there is a season. Some seasons return not to be repeated, but to be redeemed. This is one of those moments, Scorpio. It may come disguised as déjà vu, as a dream, as a message you weren't expecting. But don't move too fast. Your clarity is your crown now. If something or someone returns around October 28th, know that it's not about them. It's about you. It's about how far you've come. About how deeply you've healed. And how gently you now speak to the parts of yourself that once screamed in silence. This is not the time to prove your strength. This is the time to remember your truth. To ground in what God has taught you through every breakdown, every resurrection. To honor the lessons, the love, and the limits you finally learned to set. Not from fear, but from faith. So if you feel something stirring, if the past is knocking louder each day, don't panic. Breathe. Stay open. And remember, you're not here to relive the old. You're here to bless it, thank it, and walk forward lighter, wiser, free. Scorpio, when something returns from your past with the weight of 1,000 unsaid words, it doesn't always knock on the door, it sometimes crashes through the window of your peace. That's what this moment may feel like. Not loud, but undeniable. Not destructive, but disorienting. The kind of moment that takes the air from your lungs and leaves you blinking, trying to name the emotion rising in your chest like a tide you never gave permission to rise. It's not always the person that overwhelms you. Sometimes, it's the version of yourself that still reacts when their presence stirs the waters you thought had settled. This is what I meant when I said this truth might choke you, not because it wants to punish you, but because it wants to purge you. You are not being broken, you are being cleared. This karmic return, this unexpected message, dream, or glance across a crowded space, is not about romance. It's about recognition. Recognition of what remains unhealed. Recognition of what still holds power. Recognition of how far you've come since you last held that emotional frequency in your hands. And while the mind may tempt you to categorize it as fate or fantasy, the truth is far simpler and far more sacred. This is your mirror, and you are being asked to look. Not with longing. Not with regret. But with courage. With clarity. With the maturity that only comes from emotional sobriety, the ability to feel something deeply without losing your grounding. Not everyone who returns deserves a seat at your new table. Some are meant to pass through only to confirm that you have, in fact, graduated. That you no longer abandon yourself just to keep someone comfortable. That you no longer apologize for your boundaries. That you no longer stay in places where your soul cannot grow. So if someone from your past appears, pause. Don't act from habit. Don't act from nostalgia. Let the silence speak before you do. The Hierophant in your reading is not here to preach at you, but to remind you of your inner compass. He holds a key not to another person's heart, but to your own. His wisdom is not about rules, it's about alignment. The question he invites you to ask is deceptively simple. Are you choosing from fear, or from faith in yourself? Because the energy of fear will always try to make you shrink, accept less, or go backward. But choosing from faith means you trust the version of you that has been rising from the ashes, piece by piece, quietly and steadily. So let's get honest here, Scorpio. Are you still giving parts of yourself to people who once couldn't hold them? Are you still defending connections that left you empty? Are you shrinking just to keep something familiar close, even if it no longer feeds your truth? This return may test you, but it cannot undo you. You've come too far. You've learned to exhale through the ache. You've sat in the discomfort long enough to know that pain is a portal, not a prison. And what you're feeling now is not regression, it's a recalibration. The body always tightens before a deep release. So if you find yourself breathless in the face of what returns, let that be your sign. Not of weakness, but of readiness. You are ready to see this clearly. You are ready to decide from your highest self. You are ready to walk away, if you must, with no resentment, only reverence for the lesson. And that, dear Scorpio, is what true power feels like. Quiet. Steady. Unshakable. Yours. When a Scorpio awakens to the depth of their own emotional resilience, it is never a sudden eruption, it is a slow burn, a sacred unraveling. You may not even realize it's happening until you feel lighter in a conversation that once would have triggered you, or until you walk away from a dynamic you once clung to without needing closure. That's the quiet miracle of transformation. It never demands applause. It just roots deeper, breathes slower, and waits for you to notice that you've stopped bleeding from the same old wound. This is the space you've entered now. And while the return of the past may have knocked the wind out of you for a moment, what follows is not collapse, it's clarity. It's that clear-eyed stillness that rises after the wave crashes, when you finally see what you've been carrying, and realize You don't need to carry it anymore. You're not the same Scorpio who once sacrificed peace for passion, who absorbed pain just to feel connected, who gave away power to be chosen. No, you are someone entirely new. You've learned to treat your peace as sacred. You've learned to respond from the truth in your body, not the chaos in your mind. You've learned that it's not your job to fix someone else's inability to show up. And this is the true awakening, when the version of you who used to beg for love now bows to silence instead. When you finally understand that love is not a test to pass or a debt to pay back but a state of being that begins within you. You've stopped asking others to see your worth because you've begun to live in a way that honors it on your own. There's a moment in healing when it's not about feeling better, it's about becoming better at feeling. Not turning away when discomfort knocks, but sitting down with it, letting it speak, letting it teach. That moment has arrived for you. This karmic return you're facing is not here to undo you. It is here to show you how unshakable you've become. The truth is, when something reappears after you've evolved, it's not a test, it's a reflection. It's the universe saying, look how far you've come. And if the body tightens when it hears that old voice, let it. If the heart skips when a familiar scent or memory reawakens a longing, let it. These sensations are not regressions. They are markers. They are reminders that you once lived from survival, but now you choose from alignment. Choosing the truth can feel lonely, especially in a world that celebrates surface-level connection and quick resolution. But you've been building something deeper, something sacred. That's why it feels quieter now. Because peace never announces itself. It simply takes up space where chaos used to live. So here is the real question. Are you willing to continue honoring this new self, even when the old world calls you back with open arms and closed intentions? Are you willing to be loyal to your growth, even if it costs you comfort? Are you ready to say no without explanation, to love without losing, to stand still without guilt? This is what choosing yourself looks like. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. But it is holy. And you, Scorpio, are living proof that something beautiful happens when we stop begging for clarity and start creating it from within. Not to be seen. Not to be validated. But because we finally believe we're worthy of it. And that kind of truth, it doesn't just set you free. It remakes you completely. Somewhere in the soft space between release and rebirth, love quietly prepares to enter. Not with fireworks or grand gestures, but with presence. With ease. With a frequency that doesn't overwhelm your nervous system, but speaks directly to the heart you've spent years healing. After so much unraveling, Scorpio, you are now attracting not what mirrors your wounds, but what matches your restoration. There is a new energy entering your field, and it's nothing like the ones before. It doesn't try to fix you or pull you into a storm. It doesn't demand that you prove yourself or sacrifice your peace to feel worthy. This love, the one that's circling closer, knows the kind that arrives because you've done the work. Not to replace what was lost, but to walk beside the self you've reclaimed. You'll recognize it not by how loud it announces itself, but by how quietly it aligns with your nervous system. You might notice it in a conversation that drifts into depth without effort, or in a gaze that holds you just a second longer than seems necessary, but feels incredibly familiar. You may not be able to explain it, but you'll feel its presence long after the moment has passed. This is the vibration of alignment. Where there is no pushing, no convincing, no proving, only resonance. And yet, there may be a part of you that questions whether you're ready. That part of you still aches with memories of what love once cost you. It remembers the versions of yourself you gave away. The pieces you traded for affection. The silence you swallowed to keep someone from leaving. But those memories aren't warnings now, theory confirmations. They tell the story of the bridge you walked to arrive here. They are evidence that you no longer mistake intensity for connection. You've grown into someone who knows how to hold space without losing themselves in it. You've learned that love is not a destination, but a shared practice. That it begins with how gently you speak to yourself when no one is listening. And how honestly you can name your needs without apology. So when this new energy approaches, let your intuition speak first. Let your body tell you if it softens or tenses. Let your inner knowing remind you that safety isn't a luxury, it's a requirement. The soul knows the difference between chemistry and compatibility, between passion and partnership. Trust that wisdom now. And above all, remember this: real love doesn't come to save you. It doesn't arrive to make you whole. It comes because you've already chosen wholeness. It walks with you, not in front of you. It holds your hand, not your identity. It honors your boundaries instead of testing them. It sees you not as a project, but as a person. That kind of love is sacred. That kind of love reflects the divine blueprint of who you've become. You've prayed for a different kind of love. You've whispered to the stars at night, asking for something calm, clear, mutual, real. And the universe has listened, not by sending you a rescuer, but by raising your frequency high enough that only those who meet you there can stay. If something new stirs in your energy now, let it. Don't fear its lightness. Don't doubt the ease. This is not the calm before a storm. This is the calm that comes after the storm has passed, and it's here to remind you that not all love hurts. Some love heals. And you, Scorpio, are finally ready for that. After such powerful emotional shedding, there comes a moment when life begins to ask a different question, not what you feel, but what you're ready to build. The cosmos isn't just inviting you to feel whole again, it's asking what you will do with that wholeness. And on October 28th, as the numerological vibration of the day folds into the energy of the number 1, we're standing at the edge of a new cycle. 1. Not as in alone, but as in beginning. Initiation. The first breath after awakening. The first brick in the foundation you're now strong enough to lay. This is where money, purpose, and stability meet consciousness. Not the frantic striving of survival mode, but the deliberate creation of a life that reflects your integrity, your talents, and your true desires. You may already sense this shift, where the same actions no longer produce the same results, and where stagnation has begun to feel less like rest and more like resistance. That's not failure, it's feedback. It's a sign that your inner vibration has outgrown the structures around it. And now, the universe is handing you a quiet invitation to redesign. The key is clarity. Opportunities, especially financial ones, are close, but they will not respond to fear-based action. They don't emerge for those moving from panic, scarcity, or desperation. They appear for those who move with calm precision. For those who act from alignment, not anxiety. This is why now, more than ever, you are being called to slow down, not to stop, but to see. To see where your time is going. To see where your energy leaks. to see if your actions are matching your intentions or still being hijacked by old stories. Now is the time to pause and ask yourself, what do I truly want to create by the end of this year? Not just what I wish for, but what I'm willing to steward. What I'm willing to take responsibility for. Not in a heavy way, but in a sacred way. With your journal open and your heart steady, write down 3 clear desires: financial, creative, or professional, that you want to bring into form before December 31st. Let them be bold. Let them be specific. Let them feel true in your body. Then choose just oneto commit to in the next 30 days. Not to force, but to nurture. There is magic in focus. Scorpio energy knows this better than most. When you lock into what truly matters, your will becomes magnetic. Doors open. Paths adjust. And you begin to embody what you used to only visualize. But this only works if you move from clarity, not chaos. That's why part of this work includes letting go of the distractions that seduce your time but steal your future. And returning to the structures that ground you, not just spiritually, but practically. To support this new path, 3 frequencies will guide your energy. Indigo, deep and mystical, will sharpen your intuition and remind you to trust your internal compass when logic alone falls short. Pearl white, soft yet resilient, will offer protection, especially when your vulnerability increases as you step into new territory. And golden brown, the color of earth, of roots, of harvest, will tether you to the here and now, so your dreams don't drift into fantasy, but grow into reality. These colors aren't just aesthetics. They're vibrations. Wearing them, meditating with them, or even placing them in your workspace becomes a ritual, one that gently affirms, I am stable. I am ready. I am the architect of what comes next. And Scorpio, that's the invitation in front of you now, not to chase abundance, but to become a space where it naturally arrives. Scorpio, if you've made it this far, then something inside you already knows. The truth is not what hurts, it's what heals. Maybe it's not the truth itself you've feared, but the transformation it demands. Maybe you've spent years holding on to familiar pain simply because it didn't ask you to change. But now you're standing at a threshold where you get to choose again. Not out of fear. Not out of habit. But from awareness. From clarity. From courage. And that is the greatest power you possess. There is a door in front of you right now. One side is what you've known. The other side is where your next chapter begins. But you must choose to open it. You must say yes, not to someone else's version of your life, but to the vision your soul has been quietly drawing in the background. Are you willing to trust that this moment of awareness was sent to shift you into something higher? Are you ready to walk forward without needing to explain yourself to anyone who doesn't speak your new language? The path ahead won't be without unknowns, but it will be filled with clarity, grace, and divine alignment if you let it. Because the truth isn't a threat. It's an invitation. An invitation to return home to your peace, to your power, and to the voice within that has always whispered, you are more than what hurt you. You are the one who chooses what happens next. So, I invite you now to practice the affirmation that will anchor this message into your field. I sow truth, I reap freedom. I sow love, I reap companionship. Say it out loud each morning before you move into your day. Let it shape the energy around your decisions. Let it remind you that you are not lost, you are aligning. And if this message has touched something real within you, I ask you to do something small but powerful. Comment below, I choose truth. I choose my path. When you write that, it's more than a comment, it's a declaration. It's a signal to the universe that you are no longer waiting for permission to evolve. You are walking boldly into your next frequency, with clarity in your eyes and sovereignty in your heart. Thank you, deeply, for being here. For watching, for listening, for feeling, for being willing to grow. Every like, every share, every moment you choose to engage with this space breathes life into a community of healing souls across the world. Your presence here with Miracle of the Sign is not just appreciated, it's honored. Remember this, when you walk through the door of truth, nothing that was meant to keep you small can follow you. You are no longer who you were. And I am here, always, to walk with you on this sacred path, not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you. One breath, one truth, one aligned step at a time. Now tell me, Scorpio, what door are you choosing to open today?